Alright, so sorry about the wait delay between videos. I've been waiting for the new decals. As you'll remember, the knot decals came out great and they worked amazing. The rune decals, not so much. I think the runes were a little thick, the actual letters, like the font, and they were too close together, so I got a lot of undercutting and it just came out terrible. So I'm waiting for those, and I still don't have them. So in the meantime, let's start cutting some steel for another couple of hammers. So I have all the parts here for 2 more hammers, and I have 2 more handles worth of 3/4 inch pipe. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to deal with the last 2 hammers. Didn't have that I don't have a picture of it, that edge detail. You'll recognize it there, I think. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? On either side, it's got that little, that thing there. So the last 2 hammers, I didn't deal with those because I don't have a way to cut those out. I'm gonna screw it up. If I take a Dremel, doesn't matter what I take to it, I'm gonna screw up a finished hammer. So just like the two cutouts on the handle side, remember how we dealt with those? We dealt with those like that. Remember? So that just builds in that slot, and then we'll take a 1/4 inch spacer. 1/4 inch spacer and put it in there, and a 1/4 inch spacer and put it in there, and that'll give us our space on the handle side. So the handle goes here, and then we'll do the same with our angled pieces, right? And we'll put these together, tack these, and then put the spacer in, maybe an aluminum spacer, and then weld them up, and then remove the spacer, and we've got it all set. So anyway, that's how we're dealing with that. Remember, you'll remember that. But how are we dealing with this? Because I'm not cutting that. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take one of these, and here's our ends. We're actually going to bend these this time, as opposed to making separate pieces. Last time we had a separate middle part, and then the end part, we welded them on. So instead of that, we're going to bend here and here. So here's our ends, they're bent at an angle. And then we're going to apply this, just like that, right? And then we're going to take 2 of these. I have 2 that match, a couple of pairs here. And we're going to, I'll show you this in a second, get my big fat hands out of the way in a second. These pieces aren't sanded or whatever yet. But this is just to give you the idea of what we're going to do. So we're going to build it in, just like we built in the other one. Alright, and then we're going to pretend this is... We don't have to pretend. Like that. Alright, so let me zoom in here. Sorry. Alright, so all we need to do, here's a pointer, I need something to point. These will all fit well, they'll be trimmed so they fit. So we'll put these 2 together and weld right there, and then grind it down so it doesn't show. And then when we put this on, boom, we've got that cutout. And of course, we'll take a little spacer and put it in there. But I don't know if that's a good angle for you. I think you get the gist of it though. I hope you get the gist of it. So as long as we get rid of this seam, we've created that effect. And it's 1/8 of an inch deep. It's going to look great. And we'll put a little spacer in here to keep everything consistent. Like, you know, I think this is like, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch or so. So we'll keep everything, put a little 1/16 of an inch spacer, and weld it all together. And there you go. So on the sides, I did get some, I know I'm just, yeah. I guess I'll start over and edit that part out. So in the last hammers, we used doubled up 1/8 inch steel. 1/8 inch steel is what I had. So I couldn't afford it, but I went ahead and bought some 1/4 inch. Not a whole lot of it, just enough. So for some of the pieces, we're going to be using 1/4 inch. So for the bottom of the hammer, where the round part goes, that's 1/4 inch. Some of these will be 1/4 inch, either side of the bottom. And this will be bent up. Remember, we're not using separate pieces. So 6 1/4 is the body of our hammer. And then 1 1/2 is this piece that sits up like that. But for this effect here, we're going to have to use doubled up 1/8 inch. And as we showed you before, for this effect here, we're going to have to use 1/8 inch in order to have, you know, something beneath it. We're going to have to use 2 pieces of 1/8 inch, one there and then one on top, which then necessitates these pieces be 2 pieces of 1/8 inch, I think. So we're using a lot of 1/8 inch still. These things here, these rounds, find one here, one of the thicker ones. So I could not, for the life of me, cut a round. I couldn't do it with my plasma cutter. It just wasn't anywhere near round. And I even bought, I got this book out here, right? Got this set of hole saws, and they work great. This one and this one and this one, they work great. I could not be happier with them. So I went out and bought this. It was only 20 bucks, so, you know, didn't break the bank. But here's what it did for me. Remember, I'm not doing this by hand. Let me just take you over here. I'm using that, all right? And it's got like 150 RPM slow speed. So I'm doing it right. Here's what that hole saw did for me. That's it. This is like 45 minutes. And the thing is still sharp. It just doesn't cut. It just grinds away. I tried the other side just because maybe I'm doing something wrong. Nope, this is another 20 minutes. And it's like, you know, it's a 32nd of an inch deep. It just, I don't know. There's no reverse on that thing, so I can't be running it backwards. It just, it will not cut. So, I found on eBay, and I will put a link to the store. He doesn't have any more of these 1/4 inch ones, but I did get, so I got a couple of them. I had 3 left. But I think these 3/16 ones are going to be great. I believe that that's going to be just perfect. And they are true rounds. They don't have any holes in them. So I've got enough of those for like 10 hammers and a couple of practice ones. And all right, so that's what I got. All right, so I brought the gas tanks out and a piece of 1/8 inch. We're gonna try a piece. I only made enough. I didn't make extra like a moron. I should have made some extras to practice on. But some scrap. Maybe I'll practice on that. I like to make everything as idiot-proof as possible because, you know. So I have this. Remember this jig I made for the other hammer? I don't know if I call it a jig, but it's an angle piece. This is a 30-degree one. The second hammer I'm very happy with, and it's at 30 degrees. So we're going to make these 30 degrees. I've marked them all, and I made this little thing. that fits in here, and if I put my piece down touching it, should sit in there. If I put this down touching it, I've got the 1.5 inches right at the top here that I want. So up to, it's small here, up to this piece here at the top of it is 1.5 inches. So the bottom of that square is 1.5 inches. So that's, I don't know how much more idiot proof I can get it. And I checked that both of the scribe lines are in about the same place, so that I, because I could easily see myself bending it like this. So, that might still happen. I don't know. So, so let me get that out of there, and I'll put this piece of scrap in, and I'll come right back. All right. So, we've got our piece in here. It's a small little piece of scrap. Got a vice grip on there, and we have the little angle plate, the measuring angle plate behind it. So I'm going to heat it up here. I'll probably get in your way at some point when I go to the other side. I don't know if this is the right... I've never been trained how to use a torch, so I don't know if this is the right flame for bending. I don't know if there is a right flame for bending. It seems like that would be too hot. I think maybe I'd start to melt it. I'd be afraid. Let me give it a little, whoops. You can see, sure the vise is taking some of the heat. I really wish I had a job where I, at some point in my life, where I was taught to use these kinds of tools, because I have to pick it up to, well, before YouTube, books and magazines. All right, so we're getting red here, I think. I'm going to flip over to the other side, I think. I'm heating it low. Of course, my angle piece falls out as soon as I'm going to come around this side. When I start to move it, the angle piece is going to fall off. I probably should How's that look? I think angle, I'm gonna have to check it. It looks pretty good, but and I think it bent much higher than I wanted it to, which is, I guess, a good thing. Practice piece here. I need this part 1.5 inches for the knot work, and as you can see, it's much larger. So we're gonna have to put those two scribe marks. We're gonna have to put 1.5 inches up higher so that the bend is in here somewhere. But I can put this piece back in and do it again. But in the meantime, how is it? It's not bad. I can be happy with that. Just by eye. If I get them all pretty close, that's 30 degrees. So, all right, let me get this set back up and come right back. All right, so I'm going to try this again. I put a little 1/4 inch spacer on top of my little block under there, because I feel like this is a 1/4 inch higher than I wanted it to be. So we're gonna give this a shot. Ah, crap! We need our little block in here, don't we? All right. We're just going to have to hold that up. Come on. I'm pulling as well as, like I'm not just pushing down, I'm pulling to try and get it to bend as close to where the flame is right now as I can. I don't want it to bend up high. And I think it's going to again. I want it to bend right. Alright, let's try that. Alright, so remember we're just checking this center part here, not this part. So I'll do it so you can see it too. Alright, so that's not bad. Now let's see, did we get it in the right spot? That's the question. And we want this part to be 1.5 inches. What do you think? I want that flat needs to be 1.5 inches before the bend, and I think that's just about right. I might just grind a little bit off that 1/4 inch piece just to move the bend a little bit farther this way and make this flat a little bit longer, but not much. I like the you know, this, so the 1.5 inches doesn't fit inside, and maybe that should be the goal. The 1.5 inches fits inside without hitting the, you know, when it starts to turn up, without hitting the bend, the inside radius. So we'll just make that a little bit longer. Hope you can see that. It's pretty good. It's just not. I'd like it just that much longer, you know, as far as the piece is sticking out there. And then our decal will fit perfectly. So I'll do that, and then maybe we'll try a real one. Alright. Alright, here we are for attempt number 3. I was, I guess, smart enough this time to put the gauge, the guide in there. I can only do it with the 1/8 inch. I guess I can shim it out with a piece of 1/8 inch for the 1/4 inch piece that I'm going to bend. I don't know if it's better to go slow or fast. Like back and forth. Close. All right. on. Nice. Doesn't wanna play. Alright. Let's see how we did. Probably gonna be hot. Alright, so here's our 1.5 inch piece. What do we think? It's right. Like it's right. I think I'd like to be a little longer. I'd like to bend to be, I don't want to touch this thing. I'd like to bend to be just past that corner. I hope you can see that. I'd like it to be just a little bit longer. Maybe I'll take that 1/8 inch piece off and move it just the bend just to up there, but I don't want to, maybe not 1/8 of an inch, maybe I'll just grind it some more. I want this flat to be a full 1.5 inches. I think a hair more. Alright, one more test then. Alright, so I had a rosebud, and I don't know how to use it. I mean, I fired it up, but really it covered everything with soot. Maybe I don't have the pressures high enough. So I should probably go and Google how to work that thing to my advantage. So I put the other tip on, and I just went ahead and melted it, or bent it rather. So I got this bottom part here. That's the right bend. Happy with that, and I'm happy with that. When I take this and start it here and move this way, this end meets up with that edge, as this edge is fully on the flat. Any farther this way and this edge, there's a gap in there between this and that. So it's just 1.5 inches of flat, which is exactly what I wanted. So this piece here, I mean, I can give you the measurement, but it's going to be different for your vise. So this piece in here, probably hot as hell. There's my, make sure I'm on that there. There's my little piece that sits in there. As you can see, I took away almost the entire, I welded a 1/4 inch piece on there, and I took almost the whole thing away. I probably should have just taken the 1/8 inch part away, but that was the, the base. Anyway, that's working for me. So that's my idiot proof in the vise. So putting that in there, and then taking my pre-cut parts, putting them in, and they stay right there. Still hot as hell, but I'll put that in. And then make sure that my lines are level there. Come on. Now I've got a little extra weld metal on this side of it, so it's tightening the vise before it's tightening up on all of the pieces. So this is not quite Alright, well, there I go. So that's how I'm going to bend the pieces. I've got all of my 1/8 inch pieces, I've got a 1/4 inch piece. And I already put them all in vinegar to take the well, 90% of the mill scale off. So there you go. So I'm going to bend these up. I'm not going to film all of that, and I'll get back to you.